All right, lesson 2.2, solving absolute value equations. So we want you to be able to write the absolute value equation in one variable and then use that to solve problems. So to solve an absolute value equation algebraically, the first step you need to take is to isolate the absolute value expression on one side of the equation, the same way you would isolate a variable, and then use the rule. If absolute value of x equals a, where a is some positive number, then x equals a or x equals negative a, right? So like if I had a super simple equation like absolute value of x equals 5, well, we know that the two possible solutions for x would be x equals 5 or x could be negative 5 to be able to get at 5 outside of that, right? So that's why we want to set it up that way. So notice the use of a disjunction here in the rule for the values of x. You cannot know from the original equation whether the expression inside the absolute value bars is positive or negative. So you have to work through both possibilities to finish isolating x. So basically what that tells us is whenever we're solving absolute value equations, there is more than one solution, okay? So we want to figure out absolute value of 3x plus 2 equals 8. Well, what are the possible solutions for x? So like it said, the first thing that we need to do is isolate the absolute value. So to isolate the absolute value, we have to subtract 2 to both sides, right? And once we do that, we have absolute value of 3x equals 6. Well, let's think about that before you look onto here. So 3 times what is 6? Most of you should know that that's 2, right? But what could be in here is 6 or negative 6, right? So what could x be to give us negative 6? Would either be 2 or negative 2, right? 3 times 2 is 6. Absolute value of 6 is 6. Or 3 times negative 2 is 6. Absolute value of negative 2 is 6. But we can just use normal algebra to solve that, right? So if absolute value of 3x is 6, then 3x can be 6 or 3x can be negative 6. And then we divide by 3 to both sides to finish solving it. X equals 2. Divide by 3. Finish solving it. X equals negative 2, right? And then to plot it on a line, so there's only two solutions. X equals negative 2 or x equals 2. That's it. All right, now this one's getting a little bit more complicated, but just kind of ignore everything going on with the absolute value and just isolate the absolute value. So to isolate it, we got to add 2 to both sides. And then after that, divide by 3. Right, so add 2 to both sides, so the plus 2 or the minus 2 goes away, and then divide both sides by 3. So plus 2, we get this. Divide both sides by 3, we get this, and now we have what's in the absolute values is all by itself. It's all isolated. So now whatever's inside of the absolute value equals 7. So that means that whatever's inside of the absolute value could be 7. Or whatever's inside could be negative 7, right? 4x minus 5 equals 7, or 4x minus 5 equals negative 7. And then we just go about solving for x. Add 5 to both sides, divide by 4. We get x equals 3. Add 5 to both sides, divide by 4. Or x equals negative 1/2. Notice, something that I see a lot of students do is they get one solution and they say, okay, well the other one's just negative. Well, that's not always true, okay? Sometimes that happens, but other times our two solutions are two completely different numbers. We can't just change one of them to negative, okay? So our two solutions are negative 1/2 or 3, all right? So they're just 2 dots on the number line. All right, let's try our own. So select all the solutions for the following equation and graph the solutions on the number line. So we got 1/2 of the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 10. All right, so we want to isolate the square root, right? Isolate. Not the square root, but the absolute value. Okay, so we have to multiply both sides by 2 to get rid of that 1/2. So now we have absolute value of x plus 2 equals 10 times 2 is 20. And now we can make our two solutions, set up our two solutions. Yeah, x plus 2 equals 20, or x plus 2 equals negative 20. And then 2 solution. Okay, minus 2 to both sides to solve for x, right? X equals 20 minus 2 is negative, or not negative 18, just 18. 20 minus 2 is 18, or minus 2 to both sides here. X equals negative 20 minus 2 is negative 22. So negative 22 and 8 are our two solutions. So I want to show you what it looks like when we actually plug it in. So plug in to check. So if we plug in negative 22 for x, 1/2 of absolute value of negative 22 plus 2 equals 10. Well, we want to make sure that that's true. So negative 22 plus 2, that's 20, right? Half of the absolute value of negative 20 is 10. Absolute value of negative 20 is positive 20, so half of 20 is 10. Is that true? Yes, it is, right? So even if you didn't know how to do all this, you can figure out what the solution is by plugging it in and see if it works. So let's see if negative 12 works. Let's just do it on our heads. Negative 12 plus 2, that's negative 10. Half of negative 10 is negative 5. That's not 10, right? So that doesn't work. We could even just skip these and be like, okay, I'm looking for two solutions, so I'm just going to choose the easier ones before I have to go to those. So if I plug in 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. Why is that not working? Oh, because it's 18. You probably caught that, didn't you? It's supposed to be 18. The wonders of checking your work. Okay, so I would plug in 8. 8 plus 2 is 10. Half of 10 is 5. So there's no way that that could work, right? So it couldn't be this one. Plug in 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. Half of 20 is 10. I know that that one works, right? Okay, so negative 22, what does it go by? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So negative 18 is like here. No, I don't need negative 18. Sorry, guys. I need negative 22, and positive 18. There we go. Those are our two solutions. Okay. Next one. Isolate the absolute value and then check out your two solutions, which let's see if we can just find them just by looking at it. So plug in negative 1. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. A third of negative 7, there's no way I can make that equal negative 1. Let's see, 11. 2 times 11 is 22. 22 minus 5 is 17. No, that's not going to work. Let's try 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 5 is 7. No, that's got to be one of these half ones. Okay, let's see. So negative, it's probably these two, but let's check. Negative 1/3 of the absolute value of 2x minus 5 plus 1 equals negative 1. So isolate the absolute value, right? Minus 1 to both sides. Negative 1/3 of the absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And then we have to cancel the multiply by negative 1/3 by multiplying by 3 over 1 by negative 3 over 1. Multiply by negative 3. I'm not going to write the over 1. That goes away. I get absolute value of 2x minus 5 equals negative 2 times negative 3. That's positive 6. Okay, now I can make my two solutions. Right? 2x minus 5 equals 6, or 2x minus 5 needs to equal negative 6 for that to be true. Okay, let's solve it. Plus 5. 2x equals 6 plus 5 is 11 divided by 2. 11 divided by 2 is 5.5. C was one of them. Alright, and then add 5 to both sides. 2x equals negative 1 plus 5 is, or negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. Divided by 2, x equals negative 0.5, negative 1/2. It was these two, right? So you can get the solution by just plugging in, right? Okay, so negative 5. No, I'm tired. Negative 0.5 or 5.5. Those are our two solutions on the number line. That's it. Okay, so sometimes if we have it set equal to 0 on one side, there's only going to be one solution because there's no such thing as a negative 0 or a positive 0, right? So if we have 0 set equal to 0 on one side, there's only one solution. And it also, if we have it set equal to a negative on one side, there's no solution, right? Because if I had something that looked like this, there's nothing that I could plug in. So this would be no solution. There's nothing that I could plug into x to make that true, because anything that comes out of the absolute value is always positive, right? So that wouldn't make any sense. So if you ever have it set equal to a negative number, automatically no solution. All right, so let's check this out. First step, isolate the absolute value. So I got to start by canceling all this stuff on the outside out. So 3 times 1/2 x plus 5 equals 5 minus 7 is -2. And then divide both sides by 3. We got absolute value of 1/2 x plus 5 equals -2/3. So automatically, no solution, because it doesn't matter what I plug in for x, I would never be able to get a negative number out of a absolute value. Okay, let's see. Let's check this one. -7, -7, 9 4/3 x minus 2 equals 0. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. Absolute value of 4/3 x minus 2 equals 0 divided by 9 is 0. So that isn't no solution, right? The only thing that happens here is that there's just one solution instead of two, like we were used to on the other ones. So we got 4/3 x minus 2 equals 0. Oh, there's not another one, right? Because there's no -0. There's no such thing as -0. Add 2 to both sides. 4/3 x equals 2, and then multiply both sides by 3/4. X equals, now what a fraction does, the top number multiplies, the bottom number divides. So this is 2 times 3 is 6, and then 6 divided by 4, so 6/4. And we can reduce that to 3/2, which would be 1.5. Either one of those is good. Okay, so anytime we have absolute value set equal to a negative, automatically no solution. Okay, just try to remember that. All right, use each other to finish this homework. Good luck.